Do you remember Billy Bush? He had a long career as a reporter in the entertainment world, but he's probably best known for being the guy who was with Trump during what's become known as the Access Hollywood tape. On a hot mic, Trump talks about what women will let celebrity men get away with, and while Trump goes on to become president, Bush is fired and ultimately ostracized. In recent interviews with former Fox host Tucker Carlson and then Megyn Kelly, Bush says he doesn't even remember that part of the conversation. Welcome to Newspeak, I'm Holly Kellum. Billy Bush thought his career was over when Washington Post reporter David Fahrenthold got a hold of the tape. The year was 2016, and Trump had already become the Republican Party's nominee. Bush had been hired about a year earlier to be a host on The Today Show at NBC, and his career was taking off like a rocket ship. When the story was published, he was just getting on a plane.
And then I'm on the plane flying home, and they're, Mr. Bush, please put your phone away. I'm like, I'm sorry, we're all addicted. I'm like, just one more text. And I hit one more text. And then, Mr. Bush, okay. And as I put it down, I see, boom, Washington Post, Access Hollywood bus tape. And I went, oh my God, they did it. They did it. They didn't do it on their own air. They didn't do it in their own organization. They did it through the Washington Post because the debate with Hillary is 2 days later, and by hook or by crook, this is going to be the first topic on that stage.
But going back to the tape, it was from 2005, over a decade earlier. Bush was then co-host of Access Hollywood, and Bush and Trump were taking a bus across LA where Trump was going to do a cameo for the soap drama Days of Our Lives. Trump started talking about seducing Nancy O'Dell, then Bush's co-host on Access Hollywood. Now, Bush says that he remembers Trump talking about Nancy O'Dell and feeling uncomfortable, but he doesn't remember the grab him by the P word part.
The first time I ever, it resonated with me, oh, wow, he said that, was sitting in the president and general manager, his office at the Today Show, about 4 days before I got fired, that Monday.
Noah Oppenheim?
Yeah, I was in Noah Oppenheim's office. It might have been Tuesday, and I got canned at the end of the week, but he played it for me. I said, listen, I've never actually watched or heard this tape. I just knew it was there because I reported it on the day it happened 11 years ago, but let me hear it. And when the most amazing thing is when that line came out, I was like, ooh, and Noah Oppenheim laughed. The general manager of the prison laughed.
So here he's referring to Noah Oppenheim, president of The Today Show and the man who hired him. Now, fast forward to 2016, Bush said the existence of that tape wasn't a secret, but it wasn't known outside of Access Hollywood either. According to Bush, NBC went into overdrive trying to find dirt on Trump, who again was the Republican nominee at that time.
They put out an APB to all properties. Find us something that showed, because a woman who was a Miss Universe contestant, this is end of September, had come forward and said he was disparaging towards me. And Trump said, I've never been disparaging towards a woman in my life. I've never done anything like that. So then NBC said, okay, find something look at all your tapes, everybody, every division of anything he might have said disparaging about a woman so we can prove him wrong. We gotcha.
Now, Bush had a choice. He could have made the tape public, even though it didn't necessarily paint him in the rosiest light, and he probably would have kept his job because it would have endeared him to the media establishment, which by and large hated Trump. Or he could do what he ultimately did and stay quiet.
If I become the guy whose preamble before interviews gets used, whoever that public figure is never going to talk to me. I'm going to be the guy that no one wants to talk to because don't talk to Billy Bush before the interview. The cameras are rolling because he's probably secretly rolling. It's journalism 101, and no one came to my defense on it, of course, because it was such a hot time. Everybody was just, their heads were in the sand.
Now, there was a risk for NBC too. Trump had been NBC's biggest star when he hosted The Apprentice, but Trump and NBC had a falling out, and Trump being litigious, he probably would have sued NBC for publishing it. So NBC did the next best thing, pass it to the Washington Post. And this isn't speculation. At the time, NBC said in a statement, "As soon as we saw the tape and made the assessment it was undoubtedly newsworthy, we moved quickly and deliberately to get it published and to do so in the most responsible way." At first, Bush was told by Oppenheim, who again was overseeing the Today Show, that the network had his back. But that turned out not to be true. As I said, he was suspended, then ultimately fired for, I guess, not standing up to Trump. He said if he did, he would probably have been fired on the spot because Trump was such a star at NBC.
Like if I were to say to him, "Hey, how dare you talk like that? Like I'm not going to be on this bus. You shouldn't say such terrible things. I'm leaving." And I took a moral stand and walked out or whatever I did. Get rid of Billy Bush. We don't like him. We're doing entertainment tonight only now. That's it. And then you're done. So literally my job, hired to, was to make sure we had him as often as possible and get great sound bites and kick ass.
After he was fired from the Today Show, it took him 3 years to get a job in mainstream media again. He eventually got a job as a host on the entertainment show Extra, and he's taking a page from Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson's books after they got fired from NBC and Fox News respectively. He's starting his own show called, and you'll appreciate the tongue-in-cheek here, Hot Mics with Billy Bush, starting January 13th. And there's one more interesting thing about Bush's backstory. He is not just a Bush, he is from the Bush family. Yes, he is not only first cousins with George W. Bush, but also with Jeb Bush, who is running against Trump in the 2016 election. And that's not his only family connection to the story. Just as his career at the Today Show was ending, his first cousin once removed, George W. Bush's daughter, was rising up the ranks at the show. Jenna Bush is now a host of her own show called Jenna and Friends after her co-host of Hoda and Jenna, Hoda Kotb, left the network last year. So, what do you think about his comeback story? Let me know in the comments below, and once again, I'm Holly Kellum, and you're watching Newspeak.